Israel had been a kingdom for 180 years when Asa died and Jehoshaphat his son became king of Judah. Over the last 60 years of that, there had been division in the kingdom between the north and the south. Jeroboam, the king of the north, Israel, had harassed Judah in the south. But God had helped Judah in the reign of Rehoboam, and very spectacularly in the reign of Abijah, who relied upon the Lord, and though completely outnumbered, was given a great victory. 40 years later, Baasha, the king of Israel, came against Asa, Jehoshaphat's father. Rather than seeking wisdom from the Lord, Asa had turned to the Syrians and said, "Be friends with us and harass Israel." Well, that was a bad move, and the prophet criticised Asa for it. And Asa was very cross that someone would criticise him. And so he didn't finish as well as he began. But nevertheless, he is classed as a good king because for most of his reign he remained loyal to the Lord. When he died, Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his place, and strengthened himself against Israel. And he placed troops in all the fortified cities of Judah, and set garrisons in the land of Judah, and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. Now the Lord was with Jehoshaphat, because he walked in the former ways of his father David. He did not seek the Baals, but sought the God of his father, and walked in his commandments, and not according to the acts of Israel. Therefore the Lord established the kingdom in his hand, and all Judah gave presents to Jehoshaphat. And he had riches and honour in abundance. And his heart took delight in the ways of the Lord. Moreover, he removed the high places and wooden images from Judah. Also in the 3rd year of his reign he sent his leaders, Ben-Hail, Obadiah, Zechariah, Nethanel, and Micaiah, to teach in the cities of Judah. And with them he sent Levites, Shemaiah, Nethaniah, Zebediah, Asahel, Shemiramoth, Jehonathan, Adonijah, Tobijah, and Tobadonijah, the Levites, and with them Elishama and Jehoram the priests. So they taught in Judah, and had the book of the law of the Lord with them. They went throughout all the cities of Judah, and taught the people. And the fear of the Lord fell on all the kingdoms of the lands that were around Judah, so that they did not make war against Jehoshaphat. Also some of the Philistines brought Jehoshaphat presents, and silver as tribute, and the Arabians brought him flocks, 7,700 rams and 7,700 male goats. So Jehoshaphat became increasingly powerful, and he built fortresses and storage cities in Judah. He had much property in the cities of Judah, and the men of war, mighty men of valour, were in Jerusalem. These are their numbers, according to their fathers' houses. Of Judah, the captains of thousands, Adnah, the captain, and with him 300,000 mighty men of valour. And next to him was Jehohanan, the captain, and with him 280,000. And next to him was Amasiah, the son of Zichri, who willingly offered himself to the Lord, and with him 200,000 mighty men of valour. Of Benjamin, Eliada, a mighty man of valour, and with him 200,000 men, armed with bow and shield. And next to him Jehozabad, and with him 180,000, prepared for war. These served the king, besides those the king put in the fortified cities throughout all Judah. My name's Arthur, and I thank you for joining me as we share from 2 Chronicles chapter 17. The chronicler has 4 chapters related to Jehoshaphat, but we see a very strong beginning. He sought the God of his father. He walked in his commandments, and not in the ways of the kings of Israel. who at this time had turned to Baal, for in Israel Ahab was now king, and we'll have more to say about Ahab. The big need Jehoshaphat saw was for his people to be taught the ways of the Lord. They hadn't been systematically taught, and so he undertakes a major exercise to have his soldiers and the Levites and the priests go throughout all the territory with the Word of God and reading the Word of God to the people so that the people would know what God said. And when Jehoshaphat undertakes this, it is observed by the surrounding nations, and they leave him alone. They don't attack him because they are conscious of the history, the strength of Israel when God is with them. The nations respect the God of Israel, and they know that if the Israelites walk in God's ways, then God will fight with them. It's only when they are disobedient to the Lord that the enemies will have an opportunity against them. That idea indeed goes back to Balaam the prophet, who urged the Moabites to cause Israel to sin against the Lord so that the Lord would weaken the Israelites, because the Moabites had no hope just by themselves. And the change of attitude to Israel is very dramatic in that even the Philistines bring silver as tribute, and the Arabians bring large numbers of livestock. Jehoshaphat has a very strong army and becomes very mighty. Reminiscent of King David, Jehoshaphat had 5 divisions of mighty men of valour. And these men were not just soldiers, but they were godly soldiers. Their might came from their faith. It is the principle that has been demonstrated already. If you rely upon the Lord, if you walk with the Lord, then the Lord helps you. But if you go in any other direction, then the Lord is against you, because he has a plan and he has a direction for each person's life. And our lives affect others. So it's critical the way that the leadership of a nation works. Unfortunately, Western leadership in our present day is undermining the Word of God, promoting the lie of evolution, which has absolutely no proof and is in fact unprovable, whereas the history of the world recorded in the Scriptures is completely consistent with what we observe in the world today, both archaeologically and geologically and scientifically. But of course, if you deny the testimony of God, then you can easily make up other stories which have no evidence for them, but provide an excuse. This is why Jehoshaphat undertook to teach the people the Word of God, the book of the law, that book of the law which began with Genesis, the story of creation, the story of the flood because of men's sin, the story of promise because of Abraham, the story of slavery in Egypt and deliverance through the hand of Moses and freedom in the land. All of these things were taught to the people, and they are the foundation of our understanding of society, which is why it is a very serious matter that many people in our society are seeking to deny our young people the knowledge of the foundation on which our society is built. But the strength of Australia depends upon the grace of the Lord. As David said, unless the Lord protects the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. The clear pattern from the book of Chronicles is that the Lord protects those who seek him and who trust him and obey him. That is why Jehoshaphat became strong, because he set his heart to walk in the ways of David.